Hello, everyone, and welcome to Super Podcast Action Committee, episode 158. I'm your host, Andrew Eisen, and I am here all by my lonesome. Because Zachary is out of town, James is out of town. We didn't really know until last minute, so I didn't feel like begging guests at the last minute to show up on the show. So it's a solo show tonight. I do have some topics I'm going to hit, such as the poll results and a couple other things. But hey, head over to gamepolitics.com. We have the Twitch chat open. It's my channel's Twitch chat. So if you really, really don't like game politics, I guess you can go over to twitch.tv/Andrew Eisen and chat there. You can leave a comment on YouTube. I'll try to keep an eye on it. It's difficult because I don't. I actually have to physically check rather than be notified. Let me do the social media dance here real quick. There we go. So, I am being asked about Mario Maker. Did I buy Mario Maker? No. No, I did not buy Mario Maker. I'm probably not going to buy Mario Maker. And Matthew asks, is it the no $60? I don't. Is it the $60 rule? As in, I don't pay $60 for video games. It's partially that, but I just am not interested in Mario Maker. I really like it. I think it's really cool and really neat, but I have no interest in designing levels. And it's funny because sometimes I think about the game and I think, there's something kind of, to me, in a way, off-putting about shelling out $60 or full price for a video game and being asked to build my own damn levels. No. You see, I give you money and you make me the levels. You see, that's how it should work. And I understand that that's kind of not the point of this particular software package. But now you can download levels made by the user community. But you see, I don't want to browse curated lists and do research online to find the worthwhile levels. I just want to play a game. I don't want to build a game. I don't want to, as I said, research which levels are worth playing. Just give me a Mario game. But that's me. I'm in the extreme minority on that one. I would probably pick it up I'd pick it up for $20 because a lot of my followers, viewers, and people who follow me in various places have been asking about it and want to see what kind of levels I make, or think it would be fun if I, for example, on the Extra Life Marathon on November 7th, if I played some Mario levels. And yeah, I'd be happy to, but I'm not paying $60 for the game. But yeah, if it drops to 20, I'd pick it up. So yeah, Matthew says you can play the 100 levels they made. I think it's 67 or 68, something like that. It does ship with several pre-made levels, several dozen pre-made levels, and that's true, and that is very true. But Protoman says, from what you've heard, you can upvote the best levels, so the good ones will always be at the top of the feed. Kind of. Yes, you can star or give a star or something to levels that you like. But from what I've seen so far, the stuff that's filtering to the top of the heap are the automatic Mario levels. The ones where you just stand there and the level kind of pushes you to the end, or the ones where you just run forward and the level does the rest. Very Rube Goldberg mechanism levels. And while those are kind of neat, that's just not I'll happily watch YouTube videos of those. I don't feel the need to buy a full-priced game to experience those myself. Would I buy it full-priced with a trade-in deal? No, because I don't trade anything in. I keep all my stuff. There are very few games that I own that I would get rid of. One I'm playing now, I might get rid of, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. Matthew says Nintendo's been cracking down on ROM hacks since Mario Maker came out. I've heard that. I haven't looked into it too carefully. We've been busy at Game Politics with the getting the new site up and running. and I've been extraordinarily busy at work. So I haven't looked into that too carefully, but I did hear that Nintendo was starting to take down some of the ROM hack Mario levels, the Kaizo Mario and stuff like that. And if that's true, shame on you, Nintendo. Shame on you. Laxter, is this my first solo show? No, I've done. I did one solo show on Valentine's Day, and I think I might have had one before that. Usually, I have EZK or a guest here. Won't Nintendo DMCA YouTube videos generally? Yeah, yeah. Well, it's usually they get content ID'd, especially the music. And one thing that was interesting, we talked about this last week a little bit, but uh, Playboy did a Let's Play. Yes, the bunny magazine, Playboy, did a Let's Play of Mario Maker, and they played one of those automatic Mario levels, not one that Playboy made, but some guy named Larry made. And so Playboy automatically submits its stuff for Content ID. So someone else ended up playing the same level and sharing it on his or her YouTube channel, and got copyright striked by Playboy because the level plays exactly the same. So Content ID matched it. Now, to Playboy's credit, they immediately withdrew all of those content strikes, but it's just another example of the YouTube Content ID system not working as well as it should. So, Protoman says, could you imagine if someone painstakingly recreated the next 2D Mario in Mario Maker post-release? I guess. I mean, the game does limit you a little bit on what you can and can't do. But for example, there's no vertical levels. But yeah, we'll see what happens. It'll be really interesting to see how the Super Mario Maker community shakes out over the coming months. It'll also be interesting to see how well this game sells. Which brings us to our poll, and let me just write down the time here. 7:36. Okay. I usually have Zachary do this, so sorry for the clunkiness. And I also have to close the poll, so let me find it real quick. Also, I'm the first time I've done this on our WordPress site, so hopefully I don't break anything. Let me make sure. Okay, and poll is closed. Okay, cool. So, this week's question, and this was based on several comments I have seen on Twitter and in our shout box, which, yeah, I know it's upside down. We don't like it either. We're trying to find a different shout box. 111 people responded to, if Super Mario Maker had been a launch title, how would the Wii U have fared? The most popular vote, 46%, was little would have changed. 39% said it would have helped, and the Wii U would be sitting at more than the 10 million or so units sold by now. Move my cursor. 9% said it would have made all the difference. Wii U would be a huge success today. And 6%, 7 people out of the 111 people who voted, said, are you kidding? The game is poison, and it would have killed the Wii U dead. For a while, I was wondering if anyone would actually vote for that one. See, I'm trying to figure out, I'm trying to get a poll where no one responds to one of the responses, but so far, hasn't happened. I actually voted for little would have changed, but let's see. We had some interesting comments. Taiku said, as a launch title, it wouldn't do much. What would have really affected sales was if it replaced Nintendo Land being bundled with the 32 gig model. Now, that's actually a really interesting idea. I think that would have made a noticeable impact. Because I think Mario Maker is certainly far, assuming that Super Mario Maker as it exists today could magically have been produced as a launch title. I think that would have been a much more palatable pack-in for most gamers than Nintendo Land, which, while Nintendo Land was fine, it wasn't really what anyone wanted. Even though a lot of people really liked it, I don't think it was what most people really wanted. JR Jryi, JRYI, would have done absolutely nothing. I've lost count of the games that should have turned the tide. Most of them have Mario in the title, but except for a brief sales bump, Wii U's been struggling. Problems of lack of third-party games. That's true. People seem to forget that the Wii U launch, and I'm ignoring the chat for right now, so sorry about that. I don't even have it on my screen. The Wii U launch was successful. Wii U actually had a decent launch. It had about 30 games, most of which ranged from pretty good to pretty great. And it sold, I think, 3.1 million by the end of the year. That's about what the PS4 and the Xbox One did. That's a pretty average successful launch, is 3 million by the end of, usually launched mid to late November. By the end of the year, selling 3 million. For most console manufacturers, that's about as much as they're going to be able to manufacture worldwide at that point anyway. So it sold through. It did well. What really, one of the things really hurt the Wii U is that there were no games in January. There were no games in February. There were no games until mid to late March. I think it was Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, which kind of broke the drought. Now, I'm exaggerating a little bit. I think Need for Speed Most Wanted came out, which was a port of a game that was on PS3 and 360 5 months prior. Solid port, though. One of the few solid ports that the Wii U got. And I think a downloadable title, Fist of the North Star, Ken's Rage, which apparently was really, really crap. I think those might have literally been the only two pieces of software to appear from the beginning of January to about mid-March. It was so bad that Iwata himself got on a Nintendo Direct, bowed his head, and apologized for the absolute dearth of software on the Wii U. That's how bad it was. There were no games. Not only that, but at this point, it was becoming very, very clear that the Wii U was not going to be getting BioShock Infinite, Tomb Raider, Grand Theft Auto 5, all the Metal Gear Solid 5 or Ground Zeroes, all the really big AAA third-party games were being announced for everything but Wii U. We were starting to see all the ports being inferior versions, especially the stuff from EA. I think, now there were a lot of factors here, but I think that is probably one of the single largest mitigating factors of why the Wii U was unsuccessful and continues to be fairly unsuccessful. Earth Demon says it would have, I think it would have made a difference. It's a game that justifies the existence of the gamepad. Yeah, absolutely. Mario Maker, Super Mario Maker would not really work the same way without that touchscreen gamepad. But I think Zombie U, which was a launch title, justified the gamepad. I think elements of Nintendo Land justified the gamepad, but granted, yeah, that's about it. Although I will tell you a funny story. I was playing Tomb Raider this week, and so I'm playing Tomb Raider, and I'm driving Lara through the wilderness. I'm dum-dee-dum-dee-doo. I wonder where I am. And I look down at the PlayStation 3 controller to stare at the map. I'm so used to the... So if the NX or whatever it ends up being does not have a screen on the controller, I'm going to miss it. Yeah, I just said, I wonder where I am. And I looked down at the PS3 controller. Yeah, I like the gamepad. Some people find it uncomfortable. Maybe I just have big hands. I don't know. I find it perfectly serviceable. So Yeah, Super Mario Maker would have made a great launch title. I think it's a game that probably would have. I don't think it would have made a whole hell of a lot of impact because of all the other major problems that the Wii U had. Uh, Third party stuff, people not understanding it was actually not a new console, things like that. So, but yeah, oh man, would that be that would have been a great pack in though. Even though it's not really a game for me, I'm not much of a even the what was it, Roller Coaster Tycoon, Sim City, you build your own stuff. I don't want to make my own entertainment. That's why I'm paying you guys. So let me scroll back through the comments here and see what I've missed. I Bulba Garden, you're linking to something from Disney Infinity. I think I know what that is. Let me 1605. Let me sorry. Difficult to manage a show by yourself. Let me see if this is exactly what I think it is. Yes, it is. So in Disney Infinity, which I hate, even though I've never played it, there's a toy box, which is kind of a create your own, use elements of the game to create your own stuff. And what Disney Infinity tweeted earlier today, I think, yeah, today, was they made a thing called Squid Wars. And it's in this toy box element within Disney Infinity, and it says, "Grab your ink gun and paint your turf as quickly as you can. Ambush the competition's turf with your color ink to call yourself the squiddiest kid on the block." Some people are calling Disney, calling them out for ripping off Nintendo. Obviously, that's Splatoon, but that is so on the nose. It looks like to me. I don't mind it. It looks like to me that Disney is just saying, "Look how robust the toy box is. You can make decent approximations of other games within it, even awesome games like Splatoon, another game which I don't own because I'm not much of a multiplayer gamer." Um, Also, I tried the global test fires and it never worked. I have never, not once, played a single match in Splatoon. It never connected for me. So I'm like, well, that saves me $60. If it's just not gonna work, it's just not gonna work. I also find the amiibo implementation in that game off-putting. The amiibo implementation in Super Mario Maker, on the other hand, totally fine with. Because you can unlock all this stuff just by playing the game, apparently. You can unlock it right now if you have the right amiibo, but if you don't, you can play the game and it'll unlock anyway. So, let's see. Laxter says, you think the Wii U sold 3 million by January 2013? I think it was 3.1, but feel free to look that up. And then it took forever to sell another million. Oh yeah, yeah. There was a month in there was like a quarter where it sold like 92,000. I don't remember if that was one territory or if that was worldwide, but whew. And one of the comments I read earlier about these big, since the start, the Wii U launched with New Super Mario U, yeah, and it was good. Unless you hate New Super Mario Brothers, it was a fine game. Pardon me. But people are saying just wait until the real Mario shows up. When the real Mario comes in, that's gonna light a fire under the Wii U's butt. That's when things are gonna when stuff's gonna get real. So the following year or whenever did Super Mario 3D World came out, and it did well. And there was a slight bump in Wii U sales, and that was about it. It did well. I mean, it sold over 1 million. I don't have the numbers sitting in front of me, but then people, oh, okay, well, wait till Mario Kart comes out. And Mario Kart came out the following spring, and it did great. But the Wii U sales upticked a bit, but it was pretty apparent that everyone who wanted a Wii U pretty much had one at that point. I mean, a bunch of people bought Mario Kart 8, but they all already owned Wii U's for the most part. People, okay, wait for Smash Brothers. Smash Brothers is good, and Smash Brothers came out and still kind of the Wii. It just 3 years, almost 3 years later, and I think they are at 10 million as of June 30th. That's a shame because there are some damn good games on the Wii U. It is just an absolute shame. But let's see. Laxter says the Zombie U port to PS4 and Xbox One is doing all right. Yeah, I think it's a great game. It's actually my favorite game on, not the best game, but my favorite game on the Wii U, and I'm glad that more people get to play it. I think I haven't tried it myself, but having watched footage of the way that the game handles not having a gamepad, I think there's an element that is lost. I don't think it kills the game. I think it's still probably just a very fun game, but it's missing that extra oomph. I think the people who are saying, "Oh, it's fine on the PS4, Xbox One," try it on the Wii U. You know, maybe not like it doesn't break the game, but I think that was. I remember reading about the gamepad controller, and it's a controller. It has a touchscreen in the middle of it, and I thought, cool. Why? What's it for? I don't get it. Well, you could have a map on it. I'm like, great. I could have a map on the screen or in the start menu. Why do I need it in my lap? Well, now you don't have to hit the pause button and go into a menu. Yeah, but I have to take my eyes off the screen, so I may as well be looking at a menu. What's it matter? And then I saw the trailer for Zombie U, and I was like, okay, I'm starting to see where this is going to go. It's going to be really neat to see what else they come out with. And nothing. That was about it. Even Nintendo doesn't really seem to know what the hell to do with it. Everyone's thinking that the gamepad was going. Oh, they built. This is for Mario. The next Mario is. It's going to explain the. Nope. Nope. No. I'm not sure what they were trying to do with the gamepad. I like the gamepad. Don't get me wrong, but I wonder if the original idea didn't work, or if they were just coming off of the Wii. It's like we have to do something special. We can't just have a standard controller. Put a screen on it. Tablets are cool, and that's true. But you've just kind of made a slow, clunky tablet. Well, I don't, but we all have tablets that are better than this. So I still like it though. I mean, Wii Remote for Wii U, yeah. Let's see. So maybe the NX will be backwards compatible with the Wii U, or with the NX rather. Nintendo ripped off the graffiti mode from Tony Hawk with Splatoon, maybe. There was also some other game that some unreleased game that someone was putting forth as Nintendo ripped this completely unreleased game off. I'm like, and it was some American production too, if I'm not mistaken. I'm like, I would be willing to bet that no one making Splatoon had ever seen this this smuggled out footage or whatever it was. The gamepad is still not worth the extra $100 it adds to the Wii U. Well, how much more expensive than a standard controller do you think the Wii U gamepad is? Because I don't think it's $100. I mean, the components in the Wii U gamepad are fairly cheap. I mean, this is not a really expensive screen. The speakers in it are not very expensive. It's got an accelerometer that's cheap. It's got a gyroscope that's cheap. NFC reader, cheap. I mean, that stuff does add up, and it's a fairly large hunk of plastic. But your standard controller still costs $60. I seriously doubt the gamepad was more than like $40, more than that. So, if you replace the gamepad with a standard controller, you're probably only knocking $40 off MSRP at best. But then again, I'm talking out of my ass. I have absolutely no idea. I'm just making this up. So, Tropical Freeze did nothing with the gamepad other than off TV play. That's true. Tropical Freeze is a great game though. Color Wars, Proto Man Dan. Yes, that's what the unreleased game was, and it's pretty much Splatoon. You spray paint all over the place, and whoever puts down the most color wins. Matthew says you would say 50-ish. What, for standard controllers? Yeah, it depends on the controller and depends on when you buy it. Yeah. All right. So finally caught up on the chat. Let me check YouTube and see if anyone's yelling at me. Okay, someone talking about Sonic the Hedgehog. That's cool. Sonic the Hedgehog, not so much. I never liked Sonic the Hedgehog. Let's see. What else do I want to talk about? Oh, yes. Okay, so hang on just a second while I get a new timestamp. 2609. All right, so Pokemon Go. So have we all seen the trailer for Pokemon Go, this 3-minute live action epic trailer for a mobile Pokemon game? I saw it. Now, let me set the table here. I'm not a Pokemon fan. I don't hate Pokemon or anything, just not a game for me. I think the little monsters are adorable, though. Pikachu Squee. So in this game, or in this commercial, you have people wandering around outside and using their phones, and they're like, Pokemon 80 feet to the, or meters to the left, because metrics, and they're wandering around. Oh my god, it's a Bulbasaur. And they go bloop, and a virtual Pokeball appears in their hands, and they throw it. I don't know why I'm left-handed in this example. And I caught the Pokemon. And then there's another person on a boat, and they see a Snorlax up on the bridge, which represents some other person's own personal Pokemon Snorlax. And one cannot just let Snorlax sleep. No, so she throws whatever I think that's the evolved form of the carp that flops around, Magikarp. I don't know what the evolved form of that is, but some blue sea serpent goes and attacks Snorlax, and they fight. And then, oh my god, Mewtwo shows up in Times Square, and everyone runs into the street and throws their Pokemon at him, and Mewtwo's beating the crap out of all of them. And can they beat Mewtwo in 3 minutes? And the clock is ticking down, and time's up. Did we get him? Yay, we got him. And that's the commercial. It is epic. It is amazing. I hate it. I hate it. And I'll tell you why I hate it. Because it doesn't tell us a damn thing about the game. We have no idea how the game actually plays or looks. Everything you think you know about the game at this point, you're assuming. It's an assumption. You're inferring how the game probably works. If you sit through all 3 minutes of the commercial, and it's, I think, 3 minutes and 4 seconds. If you watch the last 4 minutes, it shows a picture of an iPhone, and it has a Pikachu standing in some barren, grassy area. And then it shows a picture of an Android phone with Charizard standing in the same grassy area with some trees going. That's probably what the game looks like. You probably wander around outside and it chirps at you and you go, oh, throw Pokeball. Oh, I didn't get him. Guess I better go buy some more Pokeballs. Flip, flip, flip. Real monies. Pokeball. Shoot. Flip, flip, flip. More monies. Pokeball. Well, crap. Even more monies. Master Ball. That got him. Oh, now I have to go 30 miles to get the next one. Great. Again, I'm making stuff up because we don't know how this game works. Um, we do know it's free to play. We know there will be microtransactions. Um, we can infer that you will be able to catch Pokemon. You will be able to trade Pokemon. Um, there will be. We can infer that there will be large events in certain locations that um, you can also battle each other's Pokemon. We assume, and you can all team up in certain locations to for special events. We think. Yeah. I really, really cannot stand it. And to be fair, it's an incredibly well produced trailer. I, I mean, even I was sitting there going, "Get Mewtwo! Get Mewtwo!" Ah! Yeah, you get caught up in the excitement, and it ended. And I went, "Great! Now show me the damn game!" And it's not coming out until 2016. But um, so let's see. Gary Ados, is that the Sea Serpent one? Okay. I I know some of the Gen 1 Pokemon. And I know that is Gen 1, but um like the starters and maybe their evolved forms and then a few of the popular ones and beyond Gen 1 no, I can recognize most of them, but I probably could not get the name of them. Protoman says, I'm just concerned that there was literally no gameplay shown. Yeah, yeah, exactly. And that might be the thing is there's probably is no gameplay. I mean, you look at something like Fallout Go. What is it called? Fallout Shelter. There is almost literally no gameplay in that game, but when you make a trailer for the game, there's at least characters running around and you can look at stuff. There's things happening. So it can be fun to watch. Not so sure about Pokemon Go. Also, it brings up a lot of questions like what if you're my mom and you live out in the middle of nowhere? Assuming she gets great cell reception, which she does not. Is she going to have to drive into Clarksville? Hell, would that matter? Would she have to drive all the way to Nashville to actually catch Pokemon? Which is 2 hours, by the way, assuming you all know where my mom lives. Um, I don't know. What if you don't live in a major area? We were hearing stuff like Pokemon are going to be hiding in park uh, statues and stuff, and it's like, yeah, but the world is a really big place. Does it just automatically pull location data and randomly put Pokemon in there? Am I going to have to go to another country to catch Pokemon, or will I be able to play this? I mean, I understand I'll have to go outside, but do I have to go much further than my own neighborhood? Gas is expensive. Another thing I found interesting is all the actors in the commercial were young adults or adults. The If I'm remembering correctly, the only kid was with both parents or legal guardians, which says to me that this is a game that's targeting people who can drive. It also, some people were wondering if it's going to be augmented reality. It doesn't sound or look like it. It looks. It doesn't look like you're going to be holding up your phone and looking, and it's going to be overlaying Pokemon graphics over what the camera's looking at. Uh, it, I'm could be, but doesn't seem like it. It sounds like you're just going to be playing am I hot or cold, red light, green, whatever. Beep 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 beep. Okay, Bulbasaur is near. Throw Pokeball. You got him. Yay. I don't know. Um, Here's a thought though. Pokemon Go. Square Enix has two mobile games, Hitman Go, which was fairly well received, and Tomb Raider Go, which was very well received. Do you think Square Enix is going to sue the Pokemon Company for trademark infringement? I bet if it was ZeniMax, it definitely would. ZeniMax would be Bethesda's parent company. ZeniMax would be all over this like white on rice. They'd be, we own the trademark to the word go. No one can use the word go. All your Pokemons are belong to us. That's the first thing I thought when I heard the title is, oh, they're going to get sued. Well, maybe not, but they definitely would if it was ZeniMax. So let me. They imply battling. Yes, it does look like you'll be able to. Oh, there's a Pokemon trainer nearby. Let me challenge them and beat up their Snorlax. Yeah, if you watch the Bulbagarden, is talking about and it just damn auto scroll. Yeah, Ingress, another game that the company did, which might give you an idea of the direction that the game may take. Unfortunately, we just don't know. Protodan, how are they going to distribute the wristband things? How much will they cost? We don't know. I'm sure they'll be GameStop exclusives or some stupid thing. No, they probably won't be exclusive, but they'll probably cost $20. Protoman, I can't even use it because I don't pay for roaming data. I'll have to rely on free Wi-Fi. Shutter. Yeah. Considering that rural players are actually thought to have a lot of advantages playing Ingress, I don't think that will be a huge concern in the end. I certainly hope not. I certainly hope that the Pokemon Company is not so incredibly Japan-centric. Well, I mean, there's a ton of rural areas in Japan, so certainly they'd think of that. Piplup, the water-type penguin Pokemon, will be exclusive to Antarctica. And someone's going to be at the summit of the big tall mountain that keeps killing the Everest. Pokemon Shuffle is sued on the App Store. Yeah, that's ringing a bell. Worth noting that Ingress was augmented reality, so you'd assume Go itself would at least feature some augmented reality features. Seems an odd decision to partner with Niantic otherwise. Yeah. But it's another reason why you might not see kids in the commercial, because if it was augmented reality, you're going to have people walking into walls or out into traffic. So yeah. All right. What else do we want to talk about? I want to talk about GameStop. So let me make a note. 3742. Whoops. Okay, saw this late yesterday, but didn't have time to write it up. So we're going to talk about it here. I saw this on the Motley Fool. And according to the Motley Fool, GameStop will further decline from selling console bundles that bundle in digital copies of games rather than physical copies. So a lot of times when you buy the Batman or the Madden or the whatever edition of the Xbox or PlayStation, it doesn't actually have the physical game sitting in the box. It has a voucher for a digital download. Well, GameStop doesn't like that. It wants you to be able to sell that game back to it when you're done playing with it. So it has said that we choose not to participate in digital bundles. In other words, GameStop is not going to be selling game console bundles that have digital download codes for a game in them. Only console bundles that actually have the physical disc in there. And I can't blame them, because a huge chunk of its business is selling secondhand games, and you can't sell back a digital download, at least not yet. So I just thought it was an interesting story, and I'd be, so Zachary, what do you think about that? But no Zachary here. Bulbagarden says, yeah, kids walking in referring to Pokemon Go, kids walking into dark alleys or unsafe areas of town to find that rare Pokemon that showed up on their map. Jason! Wandering off. Yeah. uh, ah. But yeah, I didn't know that. I'm gonna have to. Although when I buy a console, I usually buy it at launch. Although maybe I'll pick up a PS4, and I prefer physical copies of games because I like having these are all movies. My games are over there, but I like having shelves of stuff. I like owning my stuff. Um, I played Tomb Raider last weekend, and it was the Game of the Year edition, which means it's the exact same disc with a DLC voucher for all of the downloadable content. And by DLC voucher for all the downloadable content, it means you have to download that stuff one at a time. There's 20 some odd pieces of downloadable content for Tomb Raider. And unless I miss something, there's no way to bulk download it. You have to select, download, and install each individual piece of content. It was free. So, so, Tomb Raider. I really liked Tomb Raider. I played Tomb Raider. I beat Tomb Raider. I thought I was done with Tomb Raider, but the save file said 99% complete, as if Lara Croft herself was yelling at me, "Hey, get your ass back over here, Bucko. You're not done with me yet." And if I had a nickel for every time I heard that. So I said, okay, I won't be able to sleep at night if I only have 99% completion file. No, I can't leave it there. I'm unfinished. So I go back in the game and say, okay, what did I miss? So I go to Lara's stats, which you can buff up throughout the game. And I'm like, okay, her brawler stats are 100%, her survival stats are 100%, her orienteering stats are 100%, it's all 100%. All right. So I go to her weapons page where you can individually upgrade each weapon. I say, okay, the bow is 100%, the gun is 100%, the shotgun's 100%, rifle's 100%, it's all 100%. Okay, so I go to the fast travel. In each major area, there is a camp. And you can fast travel to each camp, so you can jet around the map and go pick up the stuff you missed. And so I look at the first fast travel area, and it lists the completion percentage for each area you can fast travel to. 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%. All of it was 100%. So I go into the map, and I go to the documents page, 100%. Relics page, 100%. All of it was 100%. I say, what the hell am I missing? So I go to the in-game map, the one that you can zoom in and out of and move the cursor around, and I find there's one area in the game with a bunch of collectible doohickeys that does not have a fast travel location. One. Out of a dozen or so areas in the game, there is one that has no fast travel camp. There is a camp there that you can stop at and refill your health. I don't know why they just didn't make that a fast travel camp. So I went there and I found the missing thing and collected it, and now my Tomb Raider completion percentage is 100%. Yes. No, it wasn't a bug. It's just kind of an odd design choice. Tomb Raider hit a slight amount of controversy when it came out due to there's a scene early in the game where one of the bad guys gets a little handsy with a bound Lara. She's bound with her wrists behind her back, and he nuzzles her neck and makes like he's going to squeeze her buttock. And she knees him in the groin, headbutts him in the face, and then shoots him in the face. There was some criticism that we're doing the rapey thing again. Having played the game now, I thought the criticism might have been a bit overblown at the time, and if I remember that criticism was levied against the game before the game had come out. It was based on a trailer. I think it works. I mean, it does come off as a little odd, I guess, in the game. It's like, dude, what are you doing? Um, but that's one guy out of hundreds of bad guys on this island. Um, and the rest of them just up and try to kill you. And one thing I did notice is they don't use gendered slurs to do it, which is nice. They refer to her as the outsider, and there she is. There is no or almost no utterances of things like bitch or whore or things like that. Um, so that's nice. So I mean, it comes off as okay. This was just the one rapey scumbag on the island. Okay. One thing I did notice is that John McClane has nothing on Laura Croft. This woman gets the ever-loving crap kicked out of her from the before you even get your hands on the thumbsticks. The game opens up. She's on a ship, sailing into the belly of the Dragon's Triangle, and a storm hits. So the first thing that happens to Laura is a ship. She's in her bunk in a cabin. The ship lurches and she flies off her bed and slams her head into some piece of metal, like a locker or something. And she slams hard enough. I'm like, oh man, she's going to be dizzy from that. Gets up, wanders out into the hall, and a tidal wave of water rushes through the hallway, completely flooding the place. And I'm thinking, that probably would have killed you. But she somehow swims up to some porthole, and then she drowns. It looks like she drowns. She does a float away. And I'm like, oh, Laura died. But then someone reaches in and yanks her out. And then and I went back and I checked, and then it immediately cuts to her coughing on the ground, and there's no one around her. The other guy's, Laura, run! And he's 50 meters over that way on the other half of the ship because the storm is so strong it broke the ship in half. I think something may have been cut out of the opening cutscene. Anyway, Laura runs down the thing after hitting her head and being hit by a wall of water and drowning, and jumps across and misses and falls about 40 or 50 feet into the ocean in storm waters violent enough to tear a ship in half. But she washes up to shore alive, gets punched in the face from off camera, knocked out, wakes up tied in a bag and hanging upside down in a cave. So she swings back and forth, hits a torch, lights herself on fire to burn through the rope, falls like 20 feet onto a piece of rebar that pokes her through the side, straight through her back and out the front. And then she runs through there's a cave-in. So she jumps off this thing and like belly flops onto a boulder, and then scrambles up this slope with a bunch of rocks coming out of her and dives out of the cave. And that's the opening of the game. Shortly thereafter, she gets her bow. There's this guy strung up in a tree with a bow, and so she climbs the tree and she reaches out for it, and she gets the bow and she falls out of the tree and lands on her face. And then she makes camp. She meets up with some of the people she lost, Dr. Whitman and Sam and Reyes and some of the other peoples. Doesn't bother doctoring anything, passes out, wakes up, steps in a bear trap. Just goes on and on. This poor Laura. I'm surprised she's alive. It's about halfway through the game where she starts feeling woozy. And I need medical attention. So she goes through the shanty town thinking that there's going to be a first aid kit in a helicopter that she sees there. She gets in a helicopter. There's no first aid supplies, but she finds a lighter, so she lights the tip of her arrow and she cauterizes her puncture wound in her left side. Left side, right side? I can't remember. One of the sides. It seems to me that she lands on her right side and then the wound's on her right or left, and I don't remember. It's on one of the sides. Um, which is like halfway through the game. She never bandages it. It's weird. There's a bandage that appears on her thigh, and there's never a scene that shows her putting it there. I don't think. Uh, she survives several high falls, landing on like the back of her head. Uh, at the very end of the game, she's saving her friend Sam from being possessed by a demon. And so she has to climb to the very tippy top of the mountain where it's snowing and storming. And so she beats the bad guy. She saves Sam, and her buddies are waiting at the dock at the edge of the island. There she is, and there comes Laura carrying Sam. Not even fireman carrier, piggyback, cradle carrying her out in front like this. I'm like, first of all, how the hell did you get down off the mountain? She had to climb up a vertical cliff to get up there and do all the acrobatic jumping from ledge to ledge thing. I don't know how the hell she got down, let alone how she got down with Sam carrying her in her arms the entire time. I'm like, Sam, I know you just almost got possessed, but you should be carrying Laura at this point, for crying out loud. I really like the game, though. It was a lot of fun. Little heavy on the combat, I think. I usually think that about adventure games. I like the explory bits and clambering all over the environment more than I do the combat stuff. Laura's a killer in this game. Oh man, she murders the hell out of everybody. But which is another thing that people picked up on when the game came out. She has, she's a wide-eyed and innocent girl, and she makes her first kill, and she nearly vomits all over the place, and then she's headshotting fools with a bow and arrow, and that's true. But she kind of owns that transformation after a while. My favorite line in the game comes near the end. She picks up a grenade launcher. One of the bad guys says, "Oh shit, she's got a grenade launcher, run." And she says, I kid you not, something along the lines of, "That's right, you bastards, run, I'm coming for you all." I'm like, yeah, it's hilarious. So she kind of, "I'm coming for you all." Oh yeah, good game. So I beat Tomb Raider, and I thought, okay, well let's play Uncharted, because I was still in the mood for Indiana Jonesy, adventure-y, hop all over environments and things. And I hear this series is great. My sister bought me 1 and 2, I think. Well, I got the 1 and 2 pack for Christmas, along with the PS3 that my sister got me. Maybe Mom and Tim got it. Doesn't matter. Christmas present. I was really surprised by this game. I was not expecting to aggressively dislike it. I don't like this game at all. This game is bad. This is a bad game. Bad game. Mainly it's the controls. The controls are really bad. I mean, bad. Nathan Drake controls like a slug. Sometimes he just doesn't feel like jumping. Let me clarify that. He'll jump, but he'll do this like kind of baby hop. The game is, I think the problem is Naughty Dog was trying to go way too realistic with the animation, in the sense that if you're in a clearing and you're running along and you hit the jump button, he'll just do a normal realistic jump. He won't jump. He won't do it like a 20-foot long jump. He'll just do kind of a hop, which you get kind of used to. So when you're up on a ledge, you have no idea where to go because you don't think he can jump very far. And you see another platform way the hell over there, and you're thinking, how do I get there? And you're looking all over the place for things to grab, and it's like, what am I supposed to jump? And you jump, and because it's a place, there's a big gap, he'll actually make a long jump, and he actually makes it. And you're like, okay. But here's the thing. Sometimes he won't do a long jump. He'll just do a baby hop off the edge of a platform. It got so bad at one point that I thought I was doing something because I was trying to jump for this next platform and he kept doing a baby hop. And I thought, this happened 3 times in a row. And I thought, am I not supposed to jump over there? I don't see anywhere to go. I had to go watch a Let's Play, and by gum, I was right the first time. He's supposed to jump. Nathan just didn't feel like doing a long jump. I finally got it though. Uh, he also does he's that over walking thing that sometimes characters will do. Let me see if I can. You take one step and he'll position like this. Probably hard to see, but if you're standing in one spot and you want to move one step over, he'll be like he'll go too far. So when you're on a small platform and trying to line up and run straight, it's really damn difficult to do. The other problem with the game is the combat is just flat out no fun at all. Here's what I do every single time I hear, "There he is! I see him!" When bad guys make the scene, which is fairly frequently in this game, I do this. That's not what you want your player to do. Combat it's cover shooter combat, and it's boring. It's so boring, and there's so much of it. There's like a wave of enemies in every single damn room, and it's like, go away. Who are you people? At least in the Tomb Raider, you know who these guys are. For the first, I know who they are now, but it's actually kind of ridiculous now that I know who they are. But when you first get to the island, you're like, why are they even after me? Who are these people? Why are they so hell-bent on my destruction? Ludonarrative dissonance. Yeah, I'll talk to you about ludonarrative dissonance in the Tomb Raider and Uncharted have the same problem. Here's the other thing: is when you're shooting, bad guys seem to take 3 separate volleys of bullets. It doesn't seem to matter what gun you're shooting them with, whether it's the pew 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 gun or the gun. You shoot them and they'll do a reaction animation. You'll shoot them again and they'll do a reaction animation. You shoot them again and they die. So it doesn't seem to matter so much if you shoot them in the head or the body or the leg. You shoot them, make them react, do that 3 times and they die, and it's really weird. I mean, Nathan Drake's a bullet sponge himself. I mean, go hide around a corner for a minute and he's fine, no matter how many bullets he takes. But, God, the combat is so bad. I am amazed. I'm about halfway. Luckily, this game seems to be really short because I've only put about 4.5 hours into it, and I'm over 50% complete according to the save file. So, thankfully, this is a short game because I'm almost at the point where I'm like, I don't want to play this. I just don't want to play this game. I hear the sequel is great though. I don't know how the hell they got a sequel because this game is, in my opinion, just bad. The story's okay. The characters are fun. The art direction's pretty good. The level design is shaky, but mostly not too bad. You have a character that wanders around with you half the time, and she doesn't get in the way, and she actually does stuff. She takes cover, she shoots at the bad guys, and she actually hits and kills them. So, clappity clap for Elena, I think her name is. But damn, this game fails in the absolute most fundamental ways. Control and combat is no fun. That makes the game really, really tough to enjoy. Make a pretty good movie, though. It's got some great set pieces. There's a lot about it I like, but oh man, it is hard to get over the control issues and the fact that combat is just a damn slog. So, anyway, there's my rant. Let me check, see if anyone's yelling at me here. Okay. Oh, crap. Gaming 808's asked, Have I played Metal Gear Solid 5? I could because I have a PS3. No, I have not. And I think the PS3 version actually cost $50, so it's not subject to my $60 rule. But I've never been a huge fan of the Metal Gear games. They're not bad. They're fine. I wish they'd shut up and let me play. Um, but good lord, the first Metal Gear Solid is a 3 hour game that takes 6 hours to play. It's a short game. It'll take, if you watch all the codex, if you don't skip the codex conversations, the game's about 6 hours. Only 3 of those hours are actually you playing the game. I like story in a game, but when I'm playing a game, I want to play the game. I don't want the story to get in the way of playing the game. And too often I feel like some games won't let me play. You better have an amazing story or an amazing cutscene or something if it's over like 7 or 10 minutes long. Because after a while, I'm like, how long is this cut? Do I get to play the game again? That's me. I'm so no. I might pick up Metal Gear Solid 5 at some point, but I've never really been a huge fan of the games. They're just, they're okay. I don't mind them. So yeah, it's getting dark. I should probably go turn on the. Well, it's 7 o'clock too. I should probably close up here. But someone was mentioning ludonarrative dissonance. Did I have any more topics I wanted to hit? Let me see. No, I got them all. Ludonarrative dissonance is not something that it's something I do notice, but it's not something that makes me dislike a game. And Tomb Raider and Uncharted have the exact same problem, and that is, um, you'll jump up on a ledge and you'll pull yourself up and then you'll shim over to one side and then jump 50 feet and then slam a pickaxe into the side of a cliff and then jump thing and then fire a rope arrow over to some and slide over to this other area and get up onto this platform and there's bad guys going, there she is, get her. And you beat the bad guys and then you look around and you think, what the hell were these guys doing up here? Did they do this? Did they get up here the same way that I did? Or are they as badass at climbing things as I am? Why did they come up here? They were just staring at the wall. You'll reach an enemy encampment, and these enemies will pour out of these rooms, and you'll beat them all, and then you'll look in the room, and it's just this empty room. Were you just standing in there the entire time? Nathan Drake, he's throughout for the first part of the game, he's trying to catch up with Elena. He's, where the hell is she? And he's climbing over stuff and jumping over things and doing things that most people probably could not do. He's like, and I'm thinking the same thing. Yeah, where is she? Is she climbing over the same things? Is she figuring out the same puzzles and then resetting them as she leaves the room and locking the door behind her? Here's what I think might be happening. I think Nathan Drake and Lara Croft are morons and are like taking the really difficult road. Like Elena and everyone in Tomb Raider are walking around these places. They're on this really easy footpath, and Nathan Drake and Lara Croft are climbing this damn thing and jumping all over things, sliding down zip lines and almost killing themselves. And there's these other people on footpaths, like literally right next to them. Go, what the hell is that idiot doing? So yeah, I notice that stuff all the time in these games, and it's a game. It's fine, but it is yeah. So let me 2 is a lot better. Oh man, a lot of comments here. Tomb Raider could have done more with tombs. Oh yeah. Another couple things I wanted to say is that Tomb Raider was probably 20%, maybe 30% combat, and then the rest being exploration. The Adventures of Nathan Drake is like the complete opposite. It's about 70% combat. Naughty Dog must have been like, oh man, we have the bestest combat system ever. This is so much fun. No one's gonna ever want to do anything else. Can't say I agree. But yeah, Tomb Raider, kind of an odd name for the game. I mean, you have to because it's what the franchise is called. But there are tombs. There are little areas, little tombs, but they're one room, one puzzle tombs, and they're good. A lot of them are really good, and they make you go, man, I wish this was a full tomb instead of just a one room, one puzzle tomb. Um, Even the DLC, I don't know what the DLC tomb originally cost, but I hope it wasn't more than like $1 because it's so it's cool, but it's a one room, one puzzle tomb. Um, so let's see. Run, you yeah. I'm coming for you all. Finished. Laxter only finished Uncharted for the story. Yeah, the story's fine. Not totally bowled over by it, but the characters are fun, so they help drag you through it. But oh man, the game just isn't fun to play. Laxter says I agree about the combat. I just wish it would have gone away. I know I'm shooting guys. I'm like, just go away. Oh, here's another thing that's actually delirical, and then the reticle resets every time you aim. That's a problem with Tomb Raider and Uncharted. Okay, it's too dark. Hang on just a second. Stripper pole shadow is a go. Um, it's a third person. Both games are third person. Um, they both suffer from the same problem in that when you draw your gun, you have no idea where the hell they're actually going to be aiming. You think it would be like dead straight in front of them, but I've played around with it. I can't figure out the pattern. I'll be facing a guy and I'll draw, and I'll have to move the cursor. I'm getting shot the whole time. I 20 some odd hours of Tomb Raider, and you just pull the cursor and you'd be like, okay, there we go. Same thing with Nathan Drake. You peek around a corner, you think you've got someone like center screen, and then you aim and you're aiming somewhere completely different. It's the weirdest damn thing. Tomb Raider was made 6 years after the first Uncharted. Yeah, Uncharted was 2007, I want to say. Oh, Game of the Year 2007. So yeah, 2007. Tomb Raider, I think, was like January of 2013 or something like that. So, so yeah, Tomb Raider definitely copied Uncharted, but did it a lot better, I think. And to be fair, I hear Uncharted 2 is fantastic. So I'll push my way through the rest of the game and I'll play Uncharted 2. And I may have to take a break. I don't know if I'll go straight to Uncharted 2 because this game is just destroying my soul. So the thing with Uncharted is that its strongest suit is the story. Uncharted 1's shooting is terrible and dull, in all caps. It is. If you want one that's actually fun, play Uncharted 2. Well, I do have that, so I'll play that. Oh, Brad. Hey, how you doing? Let's see. Have I seen... Matthew says, good enough. Good isn't good enough for releasing an indie game. I saw the article. I haven't read it yet. So just going by the title, I wouldn't say that's exclusively an indie problem. Again, I have not read the article. I don't know what the actual argument is. But just going by the sentence, good is not good enough when releasing an indie game these days. Good is not good enough when releasing any game. A lot of it takes luck. You know, there are plenty of really good games that go out there and die on the vine. And the same thing with movies. And sometimes it doesn't matter if you're good. Like Pixels. Although I know Goth liked the movie, and I know some people like the movie, but there are movies and games that come out that are, you know, objectively bad. Like Uncharted. And they still get sequels. Yeah, I will. That's on my to read list. So Hal says it came out around the time of Gears of War 1, which was popular, so it's probably fun for the time. Yeah, this game is almost 10 years old now, and those cover-based shooters were the new hotness at the time. I don't know why. I hate cover-based shooters because they're so boring. So boring. Whine, whine, whine. Um, and I hate regenerating health. I hate regenerating health. Because here's how you play the game. You hide behind a piece of cover, and then you wait for them to stop shooting. Then you come out and aim at the spot where they're going to pop up, and you wait until they pop up, and then they pop up and you shoot them. And then you go back and cover. Occasionally you get shot, and then you sit and cover, and you put the controller down, and you wait until Nathan Drake or whoever, Lara Croft, magically heals himself, and you pick up the controller again and you continue. So boring. I guess there's something to say with, well, stop playing it like that. Yeah, I suppose, but it's kind of built to be played like that, and I hate that. One thing that now again, Lara Croft Tomb Raider came out like 7 years later, but one thing that it does really well, or one improvement that makes over Uncharted, is in Uncharted there's a dedicated button to stick to the wall or stick to the chest high wall to hide behind, and that is very flaky in this game. Sometimes Nathan will not stick to the wall, or he will stick to the wrong wall. I had one instance where he stuck to something out of bounds, got sucked through the wall, and the camera stayed in the room I was in, and I couldn't find Nathan. Now that's a bug that was not supposed to happen, but good lord. In Tomb Raider, if there is an enemy nearby, Laura will just go into crouch mode, and she'll creep along, and if she's next to something, she doesn't stick to it. She just sits by it. If there's no enemies in the area, she just stands up. But if there are enemies in the area, she'll squat, and she'll make use of any cover she happens to be near without actually sticking to it. And it works really well. Does not work really well. Really frustrating and annoying. Let's see. Got sequels because it was good at the time. Try Uncharted 3. It's a lot more in tune with controls we're used to today. Yeah, and that can happen with a lot of retro games. Like, oh man, try playing the original Fallout or Baldur's Gate today. Oh God. Oh God, they're so hard to play. One of them, if not both of them, are the kind where you walk to the edge of the screen and the screen doesn't scroll. You have to get your mouse and drag the goddamn screen over, walk, get to the edge of the screen, drag the damn screen over, walk. Oh, God. Imagine playing Super Mario Brothers. But imagine you had to manually scroll the screen. It didn't automatically move as Mario ran to the right. You had to like use the. I know there were no L and R buttons on Super Nintendo, but on the original NES, but like you had to hold down select and use the D-pad to scroll the screen or some weird thing. Oh. Now there are mods that will take care of that, but yeah, so that can be a problem with older games, is you're used to more modern controls, and it can be really difficult to go back. But whether I get Uncharted 3 is going to depend very heavily on what I think of Part 2. 2 isn't better. Wait until you get to that. 2 isn't better? Okay. Another weird thing that happens in Uncharted is I got turned around because where I saved the game is not where it started me, because I hit a trigger for the game is broken up into chapters, and occasionally you'll hit a trigger and it'll go chapter 8, the Tale of Two Cities or whatever, and you'll go, okay, I'm in a new chapter, and I think, great, okay, this is a good place to stop for right now. So I save the game and I go eat figs or whatever, and I come back and I play the game and I load up the game, and I'm in like 3 rooms later, And I'm like, what? And I was completely lost because I hadn't seen that room. And I turn around and I walk through a room and I go, oh, here's where I saved. So the trigger for the start of the chapter is in this room, but the actual location where you will load in from a save is 3 rooms later. An odd choice. um, so yeah. Dee, dee, dee. Uncharted is retro now. I wouldn't say. Well, it depends on how old you are, I guess. If you're a young kid, like if you're 10, yeah, because it was when you were born, if not slightly before. Um, but for me, no. 10 years ago is not retro. When I think retro, I think 80s and 90s or earlier. I was just using that as an example of older games and trying to play them with modern sensibilities. Um, yeah, the first Fallout with through modern eyes are try a. I mean, even the first Thief, which is not that old. Um, it's like 2000 or something like that. Try playing the original Thief today. It's kind of a pain in the ass. I mean, it's you admire the game so much. I mean, if you'd played it back in the day, I didn't play Thief until a couple of years ago, and oh man, was that kind of a you have to switch your brain back 10 years. Um, that game kind of lost me. Once zombies or ghosts popped in, I went, "What? No, no, no! I just want to break into houses and rob people. I no zombies, no zombie ghosts. This is just dumb." Um, oh, Delirical was talking about Metal Gear when he said two isn't better. Yeah, I two is although technically two is amazing. The attention to detail, those games are fun to just mess around to just mess around in because Kojima's just slavish attention to detail is just incredible. If you have a thought and you want to try something in Metal Gear, it'll probably work. The games are amazing in those respects. Um, okay, so D. You consider the PS2 retro? All right. You consider the N64 retro, but not anything after that, at least not yet. Eh, I'm I'm not sure. Well, I think where people draw the line a lot of times is probably going to depend on how old they are. So let me check the comments here. Okay, we're good here. We're good here. Okay, well, we are 15 minutes or well, 18 minutes after the hour, so I think we're good for this show. Any final questions you want to ask or thoughts you want to get from me before we close out of here? One thing I wanted to mention is I did my most recent video, what I said about Gamergate on the Huffington Post, actual name of the video, which was responding to the other a couple shows ago. Zachary and I went through many of the tweets I got regarding my appearance on Huffington Post. I made a video going responding to the other half, and the video is about 14 minutes long. About halfway through, I burst into song, and then stop as suddenly as I start. I think it's pretty telling that very few people find it at all notable that I just out of the blue burst into song in the middle of one of my videos because almost no one mentioned it. I thought I'd be getting like, what the hell was that? Where did that come from? But no. It's, oh, Andrew's bursting into song. Yeah, he'll do that. I think that kind of speaks to my sense of humor and how I make videos. That no one really finds it that notable that I just suddenly burst into a full 4-part barbershop arrangement in the middle of a video. So, all right. Thank you all for keeping me company. By the way, I hope you guys are enjoying the new GamePolitics.com. We are improving it as we go. Let's see. Oh, got a couple people following me on Twitch. That's cool. One thing I really like about the new design is the search box actually works. Ah, it's wonderful that you type something into the search box and relevant stuff actually pops up. It's great. Before that, Zachary and James and I were having to use Google to search for anything on game politics. Now we can actually use our own search bar. It's wonderful. Um, we're still working out some formatting and style issues, and so things are going to change. Probably the biggest point of contention with us and our readers right now is the damn shout box, which is upside down. We would really prefer it be the other. You type in the top and it goes from the top down instead of the bottom up. Yeah, because one, it's not as visible when you have to scroll down the page to find the entry. Um, Unfortunately, the quick chat, I think, is what we're using. It doesn't seem to have a way to flip it over. We're looking for a better solution. If you guys know of anything, send it. There's a contact us link on Game Politics. Send it to us, superpackpodcast@gmail.com. Ping Zachary on Twitter. If you guys know of any better solution, let us know and we'll give it a try. We've got a new thing across the top that will show some of the more popular articles or articles we don't want to get buried in the blog roll. That needs to be repositioned, and we need to be more careful with what kind of art we put in there, because the poll article is in there, but the art is misframed. So these are all things we were working on. Also, want you guys to know that this show has a new home at kngi.org. And I finally finished putting all of the Super PAC archives on the KNGI and creating entries for each. So we are hoping that sometime this week we will have the RSS feed for Super PAC back up and running and have the show back on iTunes. I know a lot of you have been wanting that for several months now. And the reason we lost our old Libsyn was our old hosting space, and couldn't afford it anymore, so we had to get rid of it, and that meant the RSS and iTunes went the way of the dodo. So now that we have the show fully on KNGI, we should be able to get that back up and running, hopefully this week. So there's that. Brad, who's in the chat somewhere, wrote a nice article this week. The hell's it called? Something about a hoax. Anatomy of a Hoax. If you remember SPJ Airplay, there was a lot of talk about corrections and retractions and how journalists actually handle that kind of stuff. And this is a great case study of journalists screwing a story up regarding video games and how they go about correcting it. And Brad put a lot of work into interviewing the parties involved and finding out what happened and why and what they did about it. So check it out. It's a great article. And I'm not just saying that because James pinged me at midnight and said, Andrew, can you edit this thing? I have to go do something. So Twitch streaming. Oh, the last thing I want to say before I log off here is I will be doing the Extra Life charity event again. It's November 7th, Saturday. So from noon to noon on Saturday, November 7th, I'll be streaming games on Twitch for 24 hours straight to raise money for the Rady Children's Hospital. More information, that's a month and a half out. More information coming soon. I also plan to stream maybe an hour or two once a week throughout October leading up to the full event. So twitch.tv/Andrew Eisen is my Twitch channel. You can follow that. If you go to extra-life.org, search Andrew Eisen, you'll find my my page if you want to make a donation. So I'm going to try and set up a poll or source when it would be most convenient for you guys for me to stream. Because I can do like Wednesday night at 8 Pacific Standard Time. I could do Saturday at about 2 Pacific Standard Time, so a couple hours before this show. Or I could do nearly any time on Sunday from Sunday noon and on. or maybe Sunday 3 and on, 3 Pacific Standard Time and on. So my Facebook is Andrew Eisen YouTube. So go over there and let me know what times are good for you. I'll probably have a post there later this week. So yeah, that's it. Andrew Eisen here. Eisen is the last name. YouTube, Twitter, Andrew Eisen. Facebook, Andrew Eisen YouTube. Check out all my stuff. Follow, like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. As for the show, Super PAC Podcast Action Committee. Send us mail at superpackpodcast@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter at superpackpodcast. You can subscribe and rate us on iTunes soon. We're not there yet, but we should be back in the next week or so. But we are on Facebook, so like us there. And that is it for me. Thanks for keeping me company, and have an excellent week, y'all. Zachary, or it should be, at least if Zachary's not back, we should have a guest next week. So see you then. Bye-bye.